What a treat. What a treat for me to have the opportunity to be the first commencement speaker, to talk to the first graduating class and to the parents and the supporters, to the board of directors and to the faculty of what is the beginning of something new, what is the beginning of a new lifetime for these young men, but what is the beginning of something new for Philadelphia. Let me first off congratulate each and every one of you. And I'll make an observation. I walked over, if you saw me walk over as the men were processing in, I asked Mr. Hardy, is there a rule that they can't smile? I thought they were getting ready to go to basic training like I did 40 years ago. So I'm going to give a governor's edict right now. I want each one of you to stand up and smile to your family and say, thank you. I have to tell you that you had the opportunity as governor to do many addresses. And this is my, I think, fourth or fifth commencement address this year. A couple colleges. Yesterday I was in Pittsburgh at Duquesne Law School and spoke to them. But the only one that brought a tear to my eye was this one, watching them come in. Because they are setting the tone for a trail, to lead a trail for the young men who are following them to do the same thing. Maybe for decades, and maybe for centuries. Men, you should take great pride in this moment. Your families, your friends, your teachers, those who have raised and helped you and have taught you, all of them considered this moment a shared victory. That's how it works. This is a society. We're a state, we're a nation, and we all share it together. You are now, or as soon as you get your diplomas and move those tassels to the other side, you are now graduates. And not of any run-of-the-mill, I don't think anybody is, run-of-the-mill school. Boys Latin is the start of something very, very big. It's a new tradition to your neighborhood, to Philadelphia, and yet one that in actuality reaches across the centuries. The Boston Latin School is 350 years old. They have a little bit of a head start. Boston Latin graduated some very famous people, Samuel Adams, John Hancock, and perhaps our greatest Pennsylvanian, Benjamin Franklin. So in studying Latin, you are in the best of company. Well, this school doesn't have 350 years of history that the Boston Latin School has. You have begun creating your own history, your own traditions. And in many ways, you, this first graduating class, are the founders of your school. The founders. I have an observation to make. It's very rare that schools brag about famous headmasters. No offense, Mr. Hardy. They brag about famous graduates. And you are the first graduates. Who among you are they going to brag about? But you now have an obligation to make this place known to the rest of the world. As I go through this pamphlet, this program, I look at all the places that you're going to college, not just in Philadelphia, not just in Pennsylvania, but all over the United States. You need to be a messenger to all those schools of what you have accomplished. I see one of you is going to the school that my daughter graduated from in Ohio. My wife and I graduated from Lebanon Valley, and I see one of you is going to be a Flying Dutchman. And you got to learn to say it the right way, Flying Dutchman. But it's also fitting that you studied the language of the Roman Empire. The Romans had a very unique idea of citizenship. Citizenship was not conferred by birth, it was earned. A conquered people or a captured warrior could become a Roman citizen. Some did so by serving in the army, others by great learning, still others by loyalty. Roman citizens proved themselves worthy of citizenship. And the worst punishment, worse than death in the eyes of many, was to be banished from Rome for some crime. Most, or all of you, are citizens of the American Republic. You got that with your birth certificate. I also notice what you say here in your pledge. Education is my birthright. And I agree with you 100%. But you share one challenge with the citizens of Rome. Every day from now on, you will be asked to prove yourself worthy of your citizenship, to live up to your birthright, and that includes your education. In some ways, you have already been tested. Yes, you had water thrown on you. I can't imagine the other forms of how to get you up, because I know what it was like to get my 34-year-old son up. One of you, unfortunately, suffered an accident, and the measure of this young man will be taken in the courage that he shows in the years to come. Some of you will go to work. Being a productive citizen, a working citizen, is to play as great a role in our country as a warrior. This nation we built on hard work and calloused hands, and is a sign of true citizenship. But most of you, as we know, are going on to college. It's a time to explore new ideas, to learn still more about the world and your place in it. You know, there's a TV program that my son used to always watch called South Park. And there's a guy in there that's sort of the poet, I guess. His name is Chef. And Chef has a line, as I understand it. There's a time and place for everything. It's called college. And it is absolutely true. Mrs. Jaws, you challenged them when you talked about college. And when you talked about the roommate from another planet, I leaned over to the mayor and said, oh, yeah. Because I was sure one of my roommates was from another planet. It's going to be different. Just like when you came here that first time, when you were at the Kimmel Center, and it was different. It's going to be different. Take it as that challenge. Don't back away from it. Go there with an open mind and fill it in with new things, with new ideas, tempered by the best of the old that you've already learned. And with every passing day, you honor your citizenship in this country by the kind of young men you've become. You honor it by excellence. You honor it by striving. You honor it, in the words of Martin Luther King, by becoming the change you want to see in this world. There's an old saying about two of the greatest speakers of the ancient period. Demosthenes was a Greek. Cicero was a Roman. Each man had very important things to say. But history judges one of them in a special way. The saying goes that when Cicero gave a speech, the people talked about how well he spoke. But when Demosthenes spoke, the people said, let us march. Speak so we march with you. That's what's worth remembering as you enter this adult life. Words and deeds belong together. The things that you say matter as much as the things that you do. What you do in life should be true to your word. True enough to it that things get better around you and because of you. A man who was a hero to children of my generation put it this way: We are doing a job that God and man should be pleased with. Words sound, but it's actions that really, really attract. He was writing to a Navy admiral about why he had gone into the jungles of Indochina to treat wounded, diseased, poor refugees. His name was Tom Dooley. He died at the age of pretty old, 34. At the age of 34, after living a life full enough to fill three lifetimes and saving the lives of countless others. He was a gifted pianist, an athlete in high school, an accomplished student. He grew up in a home that never knew hunger. He entered Notre Dame as a teenager, and after a tour of duty in the Navy, became a doctor. He was set for life. But Tom Dooley didn't want to be rich. He wanted to make a change in the world. He traveled to Southeast Asia in the years before the Vietnam War, but after the Second World War. And he set up hospitals in the mountains and villages of Laos and Vietnam. He helped refugees flee the communist troops. Around the world was just recovering from the war that killed millions, the Second World War. People saw the face of America in Tom Dooley. They saw compassion, humanity, a shared sense of responsibility. He opened hospitals, treated the sick, then handed those hospitals over to the people in that nation so that the next generation could have medical care. Tom Dooley wrote 3 books and used the money to fund his work and to help young men and women from other countries attend medical school. His friends were surprised by his decision to give up an easy life. The poverty was so deep, the distance so great from home, that lonely doctor could say, "What am I doing over here?" Dooley said this, "I'm only one, but I am one." Think about that. I'm only one, but I am one. And it takes one to start to change. Each and every one of you is one. He said, I cannot do everything, but I can do something. What I can do, I ought to do, and what I ought to do, by the grace of God, I will do. He founded an organization called Medico. He caught the attention of the world, and today, around the world, doctors take their skills to other nations. Long after Dooley died, young doctors follow his examples. They go into the field one at a time. Each of them is only one person. But that's how we change this world, one person at a time. They do it through charity. They do it through love of humanity. They do it as Tom Dooley did, by the grace of God. So on a day that you as young men leave a place where you learn Latin and so much more, let me conclude with these words. Ubi caritas et amor Deus ibi est. Can you remember what I just said? Where charity and love are found, God is always there. Congratulations, and God bless you.